So, I said the next video I was gonna talk about the day they came and took my daughter, and I'm committed to carrying telling this story. I mean, the story is developing, so we might be at this, but I'm committed to like just revealing, exposing, and in that, because this is my story, I'm in it too, and to tell that story, I would have to reveal a lot about myself, like, you know secrecy is something, man. I'm telling you, it holds you, and I'm feeling freer as I'm saying these things. I got a text from my brother. My brother is the most private person. Nobody knows his business. And he said something like, maybe I should tell my story. And when he said that, I was like, oh, shoot, if I can inspire that guy, then this is a good thing, because, he would be quick to tell me if I'm playing myself, he would be quick to tell me. So the fact that I'm able to inspire, that. And then also, I know, yeah. So I did want to take like a pause before I really, go in and tell the story, just to balance myself in it, because there's a lot of things I've been holding on to that I have to let go of. So, I need to pace myself in it. But in just reading you guys' comments and the messages that I've been getting, it's just been so inspiring, and just like, thank you. And one thing that's a theme of what people are saying, and in giving me props and being able to show face and tell this story, and everybody's noticing like my strength in it. It's like, you're so strong and you're so poised, and you're so balanced. And I have to say, you know this is years of self-work. When I tell these stories, and like I said, this story is developing, and there's so much more that has happened, that I haven't, said yet, because like I said, I'm in contact with this man again. So you have to know that there's a lot that had to have happened in order for me to even allow, you know, that energy anywhere close to me. So, but that's all part of the growth. This is all part of the strength that you guys see. This is all part of the balancing that you see. And I just wanted just to give a little bit of detailed history about me, and why I'm able to show up the way that I'm showing up. When I was 19 years old, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And when I was 20 years old, I met this woman named Inyame Selassie, this amazing human being, and she adopted me as a godchild. And, she's my godmother. And I walked with her, and just was around her in her presence for like good 3 years. She's still a very, present part of my life to this day. This was like almost 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. So, and I'm so grateful, because I don't think everybody don't get the opportunity to meet an Inyame when they're 20 years old, right at that age where you just like you're a sponge, and you need direction and guidance and all of those things. That's the time where we make decisions of where our life trajectory is going to go, and depending on what you're being influenced by at that time, you can go in any direction. And I was influenced by spirituality at that time. I was influenced being around this woman, and she wrote a book called From Gangster to Guru. So she she went from being like a straight up gangster, like gangster back in the day, to like transforming her life to being a guru. And anybody who can come from there to there, there's so much there to learn, so much wisdom, so much knowledge. And I was so privileged to be around this woman personally, one on one, sharing space, living space, So I learned a lot. And her whole thing was, from day one, was accountability of self. And you're never a victim. Yeah. So I'm not saying that people don't get preyed upon. I got preyed upon, and I know that. And but what she taught me in taking full accountability of myself made me sovereign. It made me operate in this world as a sovereign being. And I've been moving on my own accord ever since then. There's guidelines in this life that we follow and things like that, but I really just do what I want out here, like, honestly. Thank God I'm a good person. So I'm grateful for that. And everything that I talk about, there's never any of those things that I didn't feel every bit of emotion that should be felt in situations like that. You know, I felt it all. I felt every bit of it. The work is the restraint, the keeping still. And that was Inyame's thing too. She was just like, if you don't know how to move, just be still. You know, when things get so hectic, just be still. And in that stillness, it prevents you from reacting. When you don't react, all things need is time. If you don't react right away, even like 3 seconds later, the situation has changed. It's different, and your reaction would be different 3 seconds later than it would have been those 3 seconds before. Yeah. So that was the work that came in all of this, is the being still part, and just allowing these things to play itself out. Right? When you have, if you have, you know, sight, vision, if you can see, you can almost see ahead of certain things. You know, if some, and one thing Inyame taught me very early on, she said, know the nature of a thing. Know the nature of a thing. If you know the nature, you're not going to be surprised at what it's going to throw at you, because you know the nature. I knew the nature of the people that I was dealing with, you know. So almost like you can protect yourself preemptively when you know what's going to come at you. So I appreciate all the comments and acknowledging my strength and my poise and all of these things. But, you know, I'm telling the story after y'all, you know. So I have, you know, I have my moments. I have my breakdown moments. And in this next one that I'm going to tell, you know, I will reveal some of that, some of the things that I went through in when I actually finally broke, you know. And but I've had tools for a really long time to navigate myself and my emotions. Inyame really taught me emotional intelligence, you know, and there's a lot to be broken up about in this situation, you know, but I really had to choose what I want to give my energy to. And that prevented me from going down the rabbit hole with them, from going down the toxic shit with them, because I chose what part of the game I wanted to play in, and only play in the part that related to me and my children. So, you know, that helped a lot too. So yes, I know I'm strong. I, you know, I'm great. I get it. But this isn't just like, no, I'm still going through some stuff. I'm still healing. And, you know, like I said, I've had a lot of tools. And one of my tools is, you know, like I said, being creative. Staying creative has always been something that helped distract me from a lot that's going on. And my connection with this man was mostly through music, you know. And I mean, with my husband, we have children, we have a life, but we connected because of music. And I think the relationship even survived as long as it did, because music was the focal point, and we both loved music so much, and we were very compatible in that way. We made really good music together, you know, and it was successful music. It wasn't just like, so you can keep going in the illusion when you actually see there are things happening. There was success happening. We made music. We were on the radio. We were on charts. We were nominated for awards, you know. So we're progressing as a couple in this thing that we do together, and we have these children, and this whole world that's created. You know, a lot of people who, if you're just following me, you missed, like, you know, that part of my life where it was all just him, me, and the children. That's all that was, you know. So to see like the halt of all of that, you know, and then because he was in a psychosis, and it was just like, it was almost like that life didn't happen, you know, what his brain interpreted or somehow just blocked out the life that we had, and he just went into the same mold with this girl. And he's very boisterous, he's very loud, he loved very loudly, you know. That's what narcissists do, because, you know, they're charming, and everybody around, at least for me at the time, everybody around me was like, look how much he loves you, you know. And you buy into that hype too, you know, even though you know what you're feeling, you know. But it's just like, well, the potential for somebody to love me this much, I mean, he shows it outwardly. If it ever hits me for real, like if he actually shows it to me personally, that would be amazing. Who doesn't want to feel a love like that? You know, who doesn't, you know, I mean, you know, he was an artist, so he's poetic, and he would say these things like, you are that, and I'm like, oh, you know. So yeah, so he did that. He flipped it, and it was now on her. But that's what she wanted. That was the life, you know. She told someone that she came to my house one day, and she saw the way that he was playing with my daughter, with Wedema, and the way I was, and there was a happy scene, and that's what she wanted. You know, I don't know, she wasn't trying to create that separately for herself. She wanted exactly that, because when it came to the point when she started to try to get my children, you know, that's why I was like, oh, you tripping, like you tripping, you know. So um so he flipped that whole thing, and as publicly, you know, affectionate and loud with his love as he was for me, he started to do that with her. And knowing the backstory, she egged that on because it needed to look like what it looked like when he was with me. This shit is really, really bizarre. The point of this video was to tell you guys that I don't feel like anybody who hasn't had some kind of like long period of like self-work will be able to process this much trauma in somewhat of a balanced way, that I've been able to process this. But I really appreciate that y'all can acknowledge my growth. I really appreciate that y'all can see that, you know, it took some growth or self-work in order for me to show up the way that I'm showing up. But music has always been the thing. And like I was saying earlier, I did everything with him, music with him. So when this situation kind of was like no more, or what it was in the state that it was in, music was out of the picture. Especially doing music with him was out of the picture. But for me, I started to feel like music for me was out of the picture at some point early on when we first broke up. I felt like music for me was out of the picture because everything I did was tied into what he was, and then he was denying me of my music that I've recorded with him. So I just felt like it would be too much work to start anything over, you know. And thank God for friends, man. And I have this guy friend on this island, and his name is Coco James, and I've known Coco for almost 11 years now or something like that, and he's just been one of those people that's consistent. You know, my friend, my children love him, you know. He's Uncle Coco. And I remember during the times where I was just like, fuck it all, I don't want to do none of this, you know, I don't want to do music, he would just come in my house. He would just come just to hang out. He would just come, he was bringing his guitar, and he would just sit with me, and we'll just talk. And I was able to really, you know, talk to him and let a lot of this stuff out. And he just really held space for me in that way. But every time he came, he would just play guitar chords. He would play chords, and he was like, oh, I've been working on this song, you should think. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to mess with music right now. And he still would just, you know, tell me the music that he's working with. And then one day he you know, he did that, and then he sang this hook. And I was like, oh my God. And it just touched me to my soul when he sang. And I was like, that is such a beautiful song, like that, with that little snippet of it that he sang. And he said, yeah, I started working on it, and you know, I really think you know, you'll be good. He was setting it up all along. I knew it. He was like, I really think, you know, you would like this song. And I love the song. We sat down and, you know, wrote the song, and I have a recorded version, I videotaped us, you know, singing it live. And I have a video that I'm gonna attach after this, because, you know, music was definitely the tool that I used to help see me through a lot of these things. Inspirational music, you know. And I'm gonna put the song on here, and the song is called Can't Break My Soul. So I hope you guys enjoy this. And then, you know, I don't know with politics what's going on. I'm kind of like, is everything okay on the 20th? Can, you know, everybody's gonna be functioning fine? So, you know, maybe tomorrow I'll post the video when they took my child, and that's gonna be one. And here's the day they took my child was the day I put up an altar and called on my ancestors. And boy,
can't break my soul. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. No, 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 no. All the times I thought about what it was that I was doing wrong. Then I finally realized all this time I was thinking I was strong. Yeah, life is a symphony. I know my soul won't be here all that long. Yeah, searching for a miracle. I might have found it right here in this song. 'Cause what it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. No, no, no. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. Yeah, all these years that's gone by, and I just wanna testify if that's alright. I've been up, I've been down, I've been lying on the ground, and I've been broke, and I've been down, but I still put it all on the line. 'Cause what it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. No, no, no. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. Yeah, somebody just wanna testify if that's alright. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. No, no, no. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my soul. What it takes, what it is, it can't break my